Tere, good afternoon, and once more very welcome to all our friends from all around the world, to Thailand, to all our friends working virtually. Tere kõigile Eestimaalt. Thailand Digital Summit is a great chance also for us to announce a few things and to kick the next section and panel into action. I will be just making a small announcement, but before I get to that, I have to explain the background story because it's very relevant to the topics of our afternoon. Now, Estonia, many very, very kind words have been said about our state of digital affairs during these days, and they always sort of make us very humbled. But Estonia, how we reached this stage where almost anything and everything you need to do as a citizen, as an entrepreneur, as a prime minister, you can do digitally. So what were the elements of that? Well, there's quite a few. First of all, obviously, whenever you hear us talk, you hear us talking about digital identity. You hear us talking about sort of the platforms we have built up before even government as a platform was a thing to do. You hear us talk about X-Road, for example. So it's true, the platforms, the stack, the machinery of digital government that has been built up has been a very instrumental part of this. But what also has mattered, even perhaps much more, has been a willingness to try stuff out. We've been very blessed with political leadership, administrative managers, leaders, who've been willing to basically trust the engineers, as my predecessor used to say, and literally just go along with ideas to try them out, to experiment. Look, if online voting started, what's now almost 2 decades back, many people started saying that no way it can be done securely. But there was enough faith to try it out, to see how it can be done, because there were quite a few folks saying, hey, but let's solve this, let's figure this out. Or e-residency, more recently. Again, we didn't know what all it could be, or even how to fully do it. But the politicians and the government was able to come on board and say, hey, let's start trying this. Let's see if it works. And if it works, we'll figure it out along the way. So this experimentation has been a very big part of it. But along with experimentation, and why experimentation has been fruitful, has been partnerships. Obviously, Estonia, e-Estonia is built with vendors, with our partners, through procurements, through your business relationships, many of them in the audience or even sort of in the event here today, working with 100 countries around the world. But beyond that, what has mattered even more has been that it's not just somehow that we buy from the market, it's also been very much open relationships, open partnerships that come from idea exchange, that come from just talking to the folks, grabbing an idea, having them come to collaborate with you. It's open innovation that has led to several of the great solutions that underpin Estonian digital government. Now, if I can just throw in a few examples, then what's now X-Road used to be a master thesis. What's now basically blockchain before blockchain, right? What Lucas's employer does was a few researchers, again, going to the government and saying, hey, we think we have a solution to a problem you're having, data integrity. Why don't we see how to make it work, and let's see whether we can solve it. And that became a product that's now sold globally. So we have these examples and cases where literally by just coming together, doing stuff together, experimenting together, experimenting on top of the digital government we already had built up, we've reached new heights and made our digital government better. So we are very big fans and true believers of open innovation through this practice and experience we have had. And especially as a government CIO team, which I have the luxury and privilege to lead, we are very pragmatic in the approach in saying that we will never be the ones who figure everything out that the government will need, or us in the whole of public sector. We will not know everything we might have use for, as technology, as new service. If we are not open for new ideas, new solutions, we limit our potential. If we limit our potential, we limit our government in terms of how much better it could be. So that's the sort of inclination and sort of drive we have had. But it's very nice in words, how to make it practical. So that's what we started thinking about sort of 2 or 3 years ago, saying, well, hey, all these sort of great open innovation or collaborations are happening. Can we somehow make it more systematic? I understand that in a way, innovation and systematic perhaps sound like being words from 2 different worlds, but actually there's a lot of order to the chaos we can bring in terms of innovation. So can we make it more systematic? Can we somehow incentivize, stimulate these open partnerships, open innovation partnerships? And that led us to experimenting ourselves. Well, obviously, we've been doing stuff along the front. That's what open data movements are for. And we are very proud that we've done great advancements there, lots more to do. We've been publishing code. We've been doing all these things to basically give a chance for innovators and entrepreneurs to come work with us. But then again, this perhaps did not bring enough sort of activity yet, and there were still some hurdles in the sense that even if somebody approached us saying, hey, I want to build on top of what you have built, then the issue came, but hey, how does it work in public procurement? So we realized that if we really want to offer a playground, want to maximize and sort of, the chances of innovation partnerships, we have to do a bit more. So to do a playground or sandbox for that matter in terms of these partnerships. That led to us innovating a bit and coming up with a sort of legal framework, which is perhaps too big of a word. It's really just a standard memorandum of understanding format that is legit in terms of public procurement, state aid, you name it, and that allows us to freely work with innovators wherever they come from. So literally, we just make an agreement that, look, if you work with us, you get access to our stack, stuff like that. In return, we might get a solution for free, and it has to be freely reusable through a government code repository for everyone. So we started trying this out. And mind you, it came out, it works. So now we have about 10 more through the years, through the last 1.5 years, of these solutions out there. For example, a core of our national AI strategy in terms of how do we ensure uptake of AI in our government and speed this up. A core part of it has to build and offer some common components. Basically, let's see, can we solve some core AI modules or machine learning modules as platforms? And so the very first one we did, for example, for text analysis, was built on the legal framework for the sandbox or the testbed framework like that. Many more followed. Later on, our national contact tracing app, which was built by voluntary contribution of some really great companies from industry, again used the same framework. So we saw that we actually have something that works. We now have had to remove the final bottleneck, at least legally, in terms of really supporting open innovation to take off. But what was sort of missing still from the picture was that we realized, but hey, we have all the tools in place. How can we really scale it now? And scaling matters because, first of all, in Estonia here, we have this awesome startup community, right? All the unicorns we're so proud of for right reasons, many more stuff coming up like that. But this startup community often is very detached from the digital government community, right? And even sort of in the tech industry, there's sort of different branches like that. So can we tap into them more? And secondly, obviously, govtech industry is growing in the whole wide world. So why are we just thinking about Estonia and our sort of, innovators here? How can we make it scaled enough to really work with the whole world? So that's what really led us to today and led us to us sort of announcing this framework we have built up globally. So starting today, we are launching the Digital Testbed Framework to really invite anyone and everyone from the very wide world to come work with us, build and try next solutions with us on top of our existing digital government stack. So essentially what the framework is about is that the same legal setup we had tried domestically, we can now do with anyone from wherever you come from. It's ideal for startups, but we welcome anyone. Whether you're a big company, working around the globe, whether you're a researcher, somebody with just a cool idea on your own, doesn't matter. What matters for us is what you basically bring to the table. If you think you have something that would be a great complement to our digital government setup, to our services we offer to the people and the e-residents around the world, talk to us. What essentially we offer in return for you is you get access to the platforms we run. So basically, like, if you need to integrate with digital identity, you need to build the next road, fine. What you also get is our know-how. So basically know-how from building out the digital government we have done so far, know-how of the users we have, so forth. Also data, of course, because a lot of products and next solutions depend on data. What we get in return, obviously, is your solution, your idea. And if it all works out, what comes out of this is the same stuff that we have seen already happen before a few times. What can come out of it in an ideal case, if we have a match between what you propose and what we need, is that from Estonian government side, yes, we get the very useful solution, the next great sort of addition to our digital government for free. You get a proved product, a proved solution that you can take to the wide world. And believe me, there are many countries sort of looking forward to you bringing it to them. Plus, on our end, what we also promise is that obviously we'll promote the hell out of you. So in that sense, look, we'll be only happy to say that you work with us, and it's a good reference, hopefully, to take abroad. So basically, long story short, we have seen the values of open innovation and being open for partnerships. We have sought ways to make the chances of these partnerships happen more systematically. We came up with a solution, and now we're really launching it to the world. So for the next month or so, by 10th of October, anyone who has a proposal for us to do something to do together, go online, let us know, we'll talk from there, and hopefully, exactly, out of that, we will have a even more awesome digital government in Estonia and in the whole wide world. Thank you.